So I recently got this Spirit Halloween harvester for free, and it fully worked. Now unfortunately the head mouth motor mount was busted and made him not really work well, but I made a 3D print of a new one off camera, and the mount worked perfectly, and now he's fully operable. Now, being the collector I am, I noticed one small problem. He was missing his scythe. With the success of the 3D print, I had the motivation to make a completely new scythe, and then I set out on a quest to make my first ever custom Halloween handheld tool/weapon. And in this video, I want to take you along in my process. Alright, hopefully I remember to put in an introduction, but today we are going to be trying to make a new scythe, because mine is missing it, and it's nowhere to be found. So I'm going to try and make something that is close to it, but I'm not going to try to be exact. Right here I just got two pieces of paper that are just taped together, and I'm going to try and draw out a hypothetical template of sorts just to get an idea here. So if I can recall, this is all just freehand right now. I'm not even referring to anything of like the original. I don't really want to. I want to make my own. I think that height might be pretty good. That might work good, and then we're gonna honestly I'm really inspired by a video that came out a while ago of from Van Oaks Props of him making a scythe out of foam. So I'm gonna cut this out and see how it compares to my harvester. So now we have our piece cut out. It actually worked pretty well. It looks very close to what a believable size would be on the harvester, and now we are going to trace it out on this foam here, maybe 2 times, probably a 3rd time to get a good thickness, and then we're going to glue all these together basically. Alright, we got a good stencil out right here, and now I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and swap out the blade, because that one's pretty dull. If only I knew where my blades were. So I'm going to try to be careful here. Okay, so I only ended up cutting 2. I think that should be a fine thickness for what the harvester is. The scythe he has isn't really that big anyways, so I think this is going to be a good thickness, and then you'll be sanding it down and stuff as well. So now I'm just going to wait for the glue to heat up, because we're going to use hot glue here. You know what? Scrap that. I actually have some rubber cement right here, contact cement. I think it might be a better idea to actually use that. That might stick it here better, the 2 pieces. So I'm actually just going to paint it with this stuff, because this is what I used on other things in the past when working with the foam. So okay, so it's been a little bit. I used a hairdryer to kind of try and speed it up. It's tacky, and I think that's what you want. So let's see how this goes here. I'm gonna try and line it up. Doesn't look half bad. It's good on here. I guess I got a little bit extra on the top, but that can all be sanded. So that actually looks not too bad. There it is. So I'm going to sand this now and try and round off some of the edges to make it look like it's gotten hundreds of years of use. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to keep this side pretty sharp though. I'm going to keep this, try and keep it flush, maybe just sand it flush. So I tattered up the edges here. Basically looks pretty good. There's some areas that still need to be sanded down, but there it is. Now I think it would be a good idea to go and paint it. But before I do that, I was watching Van Oaks' video, and he said to seal it with like a heat gun of some sort to make everything a little more rigid was his explanation, as well as to make the paint be able to adhere better, I think. So I'm going to do that right now. So I've got 4 colors really. I have this rustic orange, a deep espresso that is satin, aluminum metallic, that should be like the base layer. Got the gold metallic finish. And this is what I'm using as the undercoat, or primer, so to say. It's a truck bed coating, acrylic. So we will start with that. So here is the finished product, and I'm very pleased with how it turned out. I know I just kind of cut to the end of the painting and that was it. This is kind of a big jump, but it was a lot of experimenting. But anyways, this end right here is a PVC pipe piece, and we cut out a notch for the scythe part itself to slide perfectly into. Painted that the same technique as the main scythe blade. And then I added some blood, and this is the distortions technique of food coloring and the Liquitex gloss gel. And I think it worked out pretty good. It looks like dried out blood, which I think is perfect. And it's a little more gory than what the Harvester normally would be, but to be honest, I think the original Scythe was pretty cartoonish anyways. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. And what's nice about it is that it just kind of slides right on the pole. It's a perfect fit. Don't have to really glue it or anything. It just kind of sits on there nicely. So that's good for storage. You can take it off and then it just sits there and it's nice and snug. It ain't going anywhere. So he's basically complete now, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. So I guess we could do a little demo of it. I don't really have anywhere to hold it up, so I guess I'll just have to hold it here. And another thing that's kind of cool about this one is that he's got the old footpad jack, the old-fashioned techie ones. So that tells you right there that this is an older model, I guess. I don't know if they converted it ever. I'm assuming they did. So I'm assuming this is a 2011 or a 2012. But I don't really have any of those original footpads, but I do happen to have some of the original plugs here, as you can see. And what I did is I just connected it to a modern day mono plug jack. So this just plugs in right here like normal. And then you take your modern day footpad or try me button, or really anything of that matter, and you plug it in here, and now he has a little conversion for the modern day try me button with the old fashioned step head. And without further ado, I'm going to plug them in and let's do a little demo of my new Harvester. I've been practicing my ventriloquism lately. It's got one more saying.
These are the fields of fear, where your nightmares come to life. I am the harvester of souls. to meet your maker.
So there he is, the Harvester from Spirit Halloween. Not too sure what year this is. Again, I got him for free, and he was in some rough shape, but I'm very happy with how he turned out. I'm probably going to use him in the Haunt this year instead of my other one, just for the fact that, one, he's old, and I like the old stuff better. And you can kind of tell that he's older because it seems like the newer ones, the mouths are always closed up. This one, the mouth is kind of opened. And I kind of like the Scythe just better, more. It looks more realistic. So he'll probably be out in the Haunt this year, and he works fine, so why not? But that is about all I have to say for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.